Welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, I do have a whole bunch of Sephora hits and misses. So I do have quite a few products in here that I feel like are either winners or not. And I do hope that my experience will help you figure out if the product will be good for you. Really quick before we get started, I do want to thank ShopTagger for actually partnering with me today on today's video. If you guys haven't heard about ShopTagger before, oh my goodness, I've talked about them a few times on my channel. I absolutely love their service, which is why I keep partnering with them. But ShopTagger, if you have not heard of them before, is an online tool that you can use to actually save your favorite items in one area, and then ShopTagger will let you know if that item goes on sale, or if that item was out of stock, it will let you know when it's back in stock. I have personally used ShopTagger for over a year now, and here are some of the products that I've personally saved money on. These are some of my favorite items I had listed in my favorites list on Sephora, and ShopTagger notified me when they were on sale, so even though they were a luxury price tag, I still saved money. There's definitely some beauties in here, and look at that savings. In order to sign up for ShopTagger, all you have to do is go to their website and download their browser button. It is an extension off of your browser, so it makes it nice and simple to do that. Here is actually a screenshot of my list that I have currently on ShopTagger, and as you can see, this just stretches way past makeup. I use it for everything from clothing to decor, and I have everything organized into lists as well, so I can see all of my items and even break them down into categories. Saving your favorite items from your favorite sites is super easy because it is on your browser, like a browser extension, so it's super easy to do so. And of course, one thing I really love about the ShopTagger team is that they're always sharpening the tool, making it so much better all the time and adding some new features. So the feature that I wanted to share with you guys today is one that I've been using myself quite a bit, and that is the automatic coupon feature. ShopTagger now searches through available coupon codes for you, so you don't actually have to do it yourself, which to me is amazing because sometimes I just don't remember certain coupon codes, or I'm not even aware of certain coupon codes, but ShopTagger keeps them all in one place. As you guys know, I love high-end and luxury makeup, so of course I am not new to spending a little bit more money on certain products, but of course, who doesn't want to save money every now and then? So if you are new to ShopTagger or haven't tried it or just interested in checking it out, I do have a link in my description box for you to check it out. It is a free service as well, so that's also just the cherry on top. Now let's chat about which products from Sephora were winners and which ones were not so great. The first items I do want to mention are actually lip oils, and you guys did see me haul these products a little bit recently. So the first one is from Wander Beauty. This is the Lip Retreat Oil. The shade that I have in this one is called Skinny Dip. It is basically a brown nude, and the other lip oil I wanted to compare it to is the new Lilah B lip oil. This one is in the shade B.Elegant. It is the Lovingly Lip Tinted Lip Oil. Okay, so obviously they are different colors, but they do have a similar kind of family. So the Wander Beauty one is on the left, the right one is Lilah B, and they do have a little bit of like a brownie nude-ness to them, one of them of course being a bit deeper than the other. So when I was actually testing both of these out, the first thing I noticed was the packaging difference. So the packaging difference between the two of them, this one is like a tube plastic and this one is a frosted plastic. So the Lilah B one for sure has more of a luxury packaging, but I do think that both packaging kind of function perfectly fine. Now, when it comes to the doe foot in each of them as well, the Wander Beauty one is like a doe foot applicator that has a lot more flex. So that's one thing too. You can really maneuver around your lips pretty easily with this one. And the formula of this one as well is a little bit lighter. So it's a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner, and you do have the flex of the wand, whereas this one is a doe foot as well, except it's a little bit more stiff. So it doesn't have that same bend to it. And the formula of this one is a little bit thicker, and it also is much more pigmented. So it just depends on what you're after, but basically both of them serve the purpose of having a lip treatment in like an oil form. Both of them are not transfer proof. They are an oil. They're gonna go all over the place. So just know that, but in my opinion, if you're going for a lip treatment oil, you're not after like a lip stain type idea. You're after something that is meant to moisturize the lips and hydrate the lips and give yourself a little bit of pigment. Know that both of them can be built up, but know that both of them also have the same type of longevity. They both last relatively the same amount of time because they are lip oils, but both are good products for different reasons. The next thing I want to talk about is the Too Faced Shake Your Pom Pom Little Eyeshadow Palette. This is one, you guys, that Granted, I did recently haul because I am a fan of the Too Faced Tickled Peach little mini palette and also the Sugar Cookie one. Both are in this kind of tin packaging. Both are in a mini form. Now, I will say that the formula of this is consistent with the other two minis in that I do think that the formula is, you know, I would say it's comparable to the big tin palettes, but I do think there is something missing in these mini ones. I'm not sure what it is, if it's just like pressed a little bit differently or what, but the mattes in these and the shimmers in these are very close, but it's almost like you do need to work like a touch harder. They're both made in the same country. It's hard to tell if it's a different formula altogether. But the mattes in here, they are buildable, they are blendable, but I find that the mattes in the big tin palettes, like the big sugar bread spice, for instance, gingerbread spice, sorry, like that one, for instance, like the mattes are just butter. This one, it's still soft, but you do have to have like a little bit more work. Here are two of the shimmers in here. So they are pigmented. They do have that nice shimmer component to it. The fallout is the same as the big palettes as well. But I think the biggest difference that I notice is in the mattes for sure. The shimmers do have a little bit of, it's almost like you have to build them up a touch more, but the formula is really close that I don't regret this purchase. I actually think it is perfect for travel because it is so small. I do like the color scheme of this as well. There's not one shade in here that's a dud. I think that all of them just require a little bit, like a touch more patience, but they are still really beautiful. Now I want to talk about this big Molten Glow Jouer highlighter next. This is a really, really nice one. It does come with this really big brush, and I haven't used it with this big brush yet, to be honest, because to me, it's just a little bit too big for a highlight type targeted look. So definitely use that little brush for like body highlight. This is the highlight here, and it's super beautiful, you guys. I love the packaging of this one. It is different than their other highlights with like that gorgeous like gold kind of sparkly top. I love that. And then this is the highlight I am wearing today. And this one is interesting because when you swatch it with a finger, you just get like crazy pigment. And at first I was like, uh-oh, this is gonna pick up a lot on the brush. It's gonna be crazy, like heavy on the skin, but it wasn't. Like I put my brush in like normal and I felt like it picked up a pretty moderate amount, something that was very user-friendly. I didn't feel like I had to tap off a lot of excess. It was just perfect. And this is the look on my skin today. Super beautiful. It does emphasize texture just a touch, nothing crazy, but I do think that if you do have like, you know, a clogged pore or something, you'll be able to see it, but it's not terrible. There's some highlights I've had that are just like atrocious. They just like put a spotlight beam basically on your texture. This is not like that, but it does emphasize just a bit. All right, so just because we all wanted to know, I do have a swatch comparison next to the Amrezy highlight because a lot of you guys asked me that when I did haul this highlight. So we do have the Jouer one on the left and the Amrezy on the right. As you can see, Jouer is still a little bit more gold versus the Amrezy, which is more so a champagne. So I do think that they are pretty similar, but they also have some distinct differences as well, as you can see. Next, I want to talk about this product. This is the Guerlain Meterorites product. I did haul this a little while ago, and this one is the Perle de Satin. Now, I do want to ask your guys' help on this. If you guys know how to open this where it doesn't like have the top just fly off, please let me know, because I feel like I have to be so careful and kind of like lift it like this, because otherwise it doesn't like grasp my hand. So I have to kind of lift it at the front. There we go. And then I finally get enough kind of give in the lid and then it opens up. But this is what it kind of looks like here. We do have a foam that keeps the little pearls in there. And then you can see like, it's kind of like a rosy color when it's all concentrated. I'll open it up for you. There you go. So that's the color there. It smells unbelievable. It does have a fragrance. I don't know how to explain it, but it's so like, it's just that Guerlain Meteorite smell. It's so nice. But again, those aversive to scent, you'll be able to definitely pick something up. But here are the little pearls here. They're so gorgeous, you guys. I thought that this was going to be more of a pink pigment, so I initially just put it on like my cheek area to kind of give like a natural flush. It does do a great job of doing that. It's very subtle, very natural, especially on my skin. If you're more fair than me, of course, it'll be a little bit more impactful for you, but I do like that for like a natural glow, like flush to the cheek. But again, emphasize the natural because you do have to build up quite a bit to get like a little bit of a flush. You can also do this as an all over kind of like rosy flush to the skin if you want. For me, I was able to do that with a light layer. I didn't find any issues. But if you are like, if the pigment is more so showing up on your skin because you are more fair, then you're going to find that you're going to want to target it just to the cheeks because it does have a bit of that rosiness to it. I'm excited to continue to use this because I love the packaging. I love the idea of this. I love that you like dab your brush in and then like the powder comes off of the pearls. It's so cool and very classic. So this is also another winner for me. All right, next I want to talk about the 3 Pat McGrath products that just got released. The first one is the primer. So I do have this one. I also have the foundation and I do have the powder as well. So let's first talk about the primer. The primer, you guys, oh my goodness. I did see Jamie Page's video on this. She is another Canadian YouTuber, so I always love to support other Canadians. And she talked about this and how the packaging was so underwhelming, and I absolutely agree. This is an $80 Canadian primer. I believe in the States it's like 60 bucks or so. This is so cheap for that price point. I cannot believe it. I'm so disappointed. The packaging is a cheap plastic. It is, like, as you can see, it's very flimsy, lightweight, just like, honestly, not what I would correspond a $80 product to. And it does have a label, but I could peel the label right off. I'll just kind of show you. Do you kind of see how, like, it's not even, like, on? I'm going to see if I can show you, like, on the edge. There we go. So you can see I can peel the label right off. It's not even, like, sealed in. This is a label as well, but you can tell that it's nicely and glued on. There's no peeling edges. This is just like atrocious. I feel like they just kind of like glued it together really quickly. Now let's talk about the primer itself. The primer to me is fragranced, so just know that. It is a pale pink color and it kind of looks like this. And as soon as I pumped that on my hand, I was like, what does that remind me of? It reminds me of something else. And it does remind me of something else. It's the Dior Universal Primer. It reminds me of this so much. I'm gonna actually put them side by side so you can kind of see. But the Pat McGrath one is on the left, the Dior one on the right. They do have a little bit of a different shade of pink undertone in them, but they both perform the same. They do have the same hydrating component. They have the same slight blurring component. And even though I am a big fan of this Dior one, I do really like it. I don't necessarily think that the Pat McGrath one is worth the money because you can even get this one, a very similar product, for less money. This one is actually 36 American, roughly 48 Canadian dollars. So we're looking at just over half, basically, of what the Pat McGrath is. It's like, it's so alarming. It's crazy. This is like the biggest injustice in my opinion. So definitely opt for the Dior one if you want something like the Pat McGrath. I do think that they perform very, very close and very similarly. The packaging alone is just like, why? This is something that I feel like was not thought as much about as the, you know, the foundation packaging, because the packaging on the foundation is killer. Now let's talk about this foundation next. It is the foundation I am wearing today, and this is the Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection Foundation. The shade that I ended up picking up is light medium 9. So I do have a subscriber and friend that was talking to me on Instagram at length, helping me match myself to this stuff. So you know who you are. Thank you so much for that. I'm so appreciative. And we were talking about if I should order it off of Sephora or off of the Pat McGrath site, because the Pat McGrath site had all 3 of these things bundled together for actually pretty significantly less money. I'm really glad in hindsight that I did go for the Sephora products instead of the Pat McGrath bundle, because now that I've used everything, I mean, I won't return anything, but I feel like there will be people that probably will return it because of how underwhelming some of these things are. So if that's the case, then, you know, you won't be able to do that with Pat McGrath's site because they can't be used in order to return them. So going to the foundation, this, you guys, is a gorgeous, gorgeous foundation. I do love how this wears. I do love the finish on the skin. It's very nice and natural, but the way that this wears is really beautiful. Like, it doesn't break down whatsoever. I cannot believe it. Just like in Jamie's video where she talks about going into like the crazy heat and actually using this foundation and it not breaking apart on her. She also, I believe, has dry skin. I have normal skin and I did the same thing. I was out and about. I wasn't mowing my grass, but I was out and about and nothing happened. Like, nothing happened to my skin when it came to how it looked. It was amazing. So I do love that, but of course the one downside of this product is the alcohol component in it. For me, I don't necessarily want to wear this too often because of the alcohol component. It sucks that it's so good because I do know that alcohol can be very drying on the skin. So this is going to be something I'm going to have to wear very sparingly because I don't want any like skin damage or dryness or anything happening, but so far so good with me and my skin being normal. I mean, with toners I can get a little bit sensitive, so knowing that, I'm gonna make sure that I really limit the use of this guy, even though it's so good. Like, it's a runny formula as well, but the runniness of it, it's kind of deceiving because you don't need a lot. It just kind of stretches over the skin beautifully. Like 2 small pumps got my face in one go. It is about, I would say, a light coverage right away, but it can be built up as well. So I do love this, but I know there's lots of controversy over the ingredients, and that's totally fair because the alcohol, I think, is like number 3 on the list. Next, we have the powder, and this, you guys, is also a packaging that I thought was a little bit underwhelming, if I'm honest. I just pulled a hair off of the powder, so do apologize. But anyways, I did get the light medium one because this corresponded to my shade, and this is one of the powders that has like a seal over top. As soon as you pull the seal off though, you have all this powder like flying up in front of you, which really sucks. It's kind of a waste of product that way when you do that, but that's how this was sealed. Honestly, this is also, I want to say, close to the primer price. I think it's also like 80 Canadian or something like that. And for that price, I was hoping something a little bit more when it comes to packaging. This is a plastic packaging. It's not as terrible as the primer, but it's certainly a little bit underwhelming for the price tag. And this powder itself is definitely mattifying. I'm gonna try to open it and show you kind of the inside, but there's tons of powder on the top. So we do have a tiny rim around the edge and everything else is mesh, which is why the powder just shoots out. It's not like a small mesh portion. It's almost the size of the top itself. The amount of product that you get in here too is insane. I cannot believe it. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to not recommend it to you guys, because this is, let's see, 5 grams. For that price, I'm like, okay, this powder better make me look like J-Lo. So when I actually put it on my face, it's more mattifying than some of the powders that I'm used to. I love my La Mer powder. So good. It has that nice gentle glow to the skin. It's beautiful, lays beautifully. This one is much more mattifying than that. I do think that there is the possibility to look a bit caked up with it, especially when you open up the seal. All of this powder just comes shooting out, and now you either waste a whole bunch of product or have to put a whole bunch of product like on your face at one time. Out of the 3 though, I would only recommend the foundation, and only if you are aware of the alcohol component and okay with it. I do think that the powder being such few grams of product for the price tag, and this powder, you guys, is average. It's not something that blew me away. It's fine. Like, it's just okay. This was kind of an interesting launch from her, and I'm a bit disappointed on certain things, but the foundation definitely blew me away. Now let's go on to a new eyebrow product that I picked up. This is from Hourglass. It is the Arch Micro Brow Pencil. The shade that I picked up is called Soft Brunette. This is a bit cooler than my brow hairs actually, and it is on my brows today. So I must say that I've been loving my Benefit Precisely My Brow, and I have tried the Brow Wiz from Anastasia already. Out of those 3 formulas, the Hourglass one, formula-wise, is probably similar to the Brow Wiz. The Benefit one is a touch stiffer, so know that this one is pretty soft. The quality of the spoolie, I think, is better than any of the ones I've had so far. So the Anastasia, the Benefit, I think this one is a little bit more firm. It is kind of like malleable, so you can bend it a little bit, but this one doesn't look like it's gonna fall off as easily as the Benefit or the Anastasia one. So I do like that, but I do think the color of this one is a different look for me. It's a little bit nicer, more natural. The shade range of this is obviously not as good as the Benefit one. I think the Benefit one has the biggest shade range, but this one I think is worth a try. I do think that it's a nice product, so I hope that they make more because this is a nice one. They do have a brow pencil already, but this is is the first like micro one, and I do love that because my brows are on the smaller side. Now the last product I'm going to talk about today is actually the Anastasia Dewy Set Setting Spray, and this is really nice, you guys. So the packaging is amazing. I was worried I was going to have glitter in the actual formula, but you definitely don't, so don't worry about that. But this is a nice, beautiful dewy setting spray. One light spritz will give you a bit more of a natural dew. If you kind of layer it on, you're going to get more dew, obviously. That's just kind of the whole point of it, but I like to do a light spritz to kind of keep my makeup looking more natural. So I love that. I love that it holds my makeup all day. It doesn't necessarily compromise the integrity. I do think that it's a great setting spray. The mister is nice. So this is one that I feel like the mister is very similar to the MAC Fix Plus. I think the only like ultra fine mist I have in my collection right now is probably the Glow Recipe like watermelon spray. That one is ultra fine, just feels like air. This one is not like that. It's still a little bit heavier, but I do like how this one evenly kind of coats the skin. It's not like you get like bits of solution on your face or anything. It's a nice even kind of spray, and I really, really like this as well for just that natural dewy look. Anyways, guys, that is it for today's video on Sephora's hits and misses. Please let me know down below which of these products you are interested in, which ones have you tried, and of course I would love to pick up any products that you are recommending I check out. Thank you again to ShopTaker for sponsoring part of this video, and until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the